So I really wanted to start this channel off with a basics course on content creation. You know, the response that I've had on the videos that I made on the Rumble platform, it's been really positive. I can see from the comments on those videos that there are a ton of people that want to get into content creation and making a living off of it. That's great. And I think that even though there are literally millions of people in this business already, I think that there is always space for new people, new perspectives, and new content. So this video is basically going to be 3 of my best pieces of advice. And the first one on that list, I think, is going to be patient. The reality is that because there are so many people out there creating content, that no matter what type of content it is that you personally want to make, there's going to be a very small handful of people who are essentially monopolizing that end of the market. These people are already established, they already have massive followings, they're already pulling in a crap ton of money doing what they do. Don't let that discourage you. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself that you can't do it because so-and-so channel already has millions of subscribers, and you feel like you can't do it because you've been putting out content for 6 months and you just can't seem to get any traction, just get that thought out of your head. Tip number 1 is be patient. The average time that it takes a channel to gain traction is roughly a year. After that, it could take up to another year before you start receiving a regular paycheck for what you're doing. If you try to rush it, if you try to compare yourself to whatever other channel it is that you're watching, all you're going to do is get discouraged and quit. What's important is your foundation, and if you start with a solid foundation, it will help everything else as you go so much smoother. If your game plan is to just start pumping out content on day one, video after video after video, all you're going to do is get frustrated when you're not seeing any results. So tip number 1 is be patient. Tip number 2 is build your foundation. In order to really build your foundation, you've really got to outline your channel. What kind of content are you going to make? What's the primary subject matter that you're going to bring on your channel? And who is the specific audience that you plan on targeting? Are you going to script your videos? Are you going to make outlines? Or are you just going to hit record and see what happens? What's your channel name? Does the channel name, clearly define what it is that you would expect to see on this channel? These are all questions that you really want to put thought into when outlining and building the channel as a whole. My suggestion would be to set up a simple notes type program in your phone. Now, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. If you're using an iPhone, it already has a notes program in there. All you really need to do is be able to create folders and notes within those folders. Start with a master folder for your YouTube channel. Inside of that folder, start a handful of notes. Have one note that's a video list. As you're going through your day, doing whatever random stuff it is you're doing, if an idea pops into your head for a video, pull up your phone, put that on the list. Create another note that's a to-do list. Put a list on there of everything that needs to get done for your channel. Everything from channel name, profile picture, banner picture, everything that you need to do to have that channel ready to launch. Make sure that's on a note. You wouldn't believe how much having all of that information on your phone helps you be prepared. This is the start of the foundation of your channel. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if something pops into your head having to do with your channel, pull that note application up and throw it down in there. This is especially helpful when it comes to outlining videos. Before you even start recording, come up with the ideas for 5 different videos. Make a separate note inside of your folder for each of these 5 videos. It doesn't have to be done all at once. You can go ahead and start with one, and another idea pops up, you can bounce over to that. But you want to make sure that you have a handful of videos prepped, working on, ready to go before you even hit the studio to start recording. The more material that you have in the bank, the less stress you'll go through moving forward. Be prepared. So you have your first video started in your note program. I can go ahead and make a video later on about how I outline and prepare videos, but for right now, I'm going to try to keep this somewhat brief. Your first video, Give that thing a title and just start writing. Maybe it's a script. Maybe it's a loose outline with just key talking points. It's whatever works best for you. While you're outlined, go ahead and make sure to be detailed. Make notations for different camera angles and locations of wherever it is that you might be, whether you're filming indoors or outdoors. You want to really plan it out as detailed as you can and type it out as you go. If you can't finish it in one sitting, that's fine. That's why I recommend having a notes program on your phone. Work on it a little bit here and there when you have time. I seriously cannot tell you how many times I was at my day job or in the middle of the grocery store and an idea popped into my head for a video, and I just have to stop right there, stop what I'm doing, pull out my phone and just type it up real quick so that I don't lose it later on. Now, if you're struggling to get 5 videos outlined with the content that you had planned on being the focus of your channel, it's time to stop and reevaluate. Maybe that content that you're planning to create isn't quite right for you, but it's better to catch that early on, because then you can course correct rather than just getting started and trying to fix it later on. The content that you create, it should be something that you yourself have a passion for. Don't just look and see what's going viral and try to imitate that. If you try to just copy whatever videos are going viral out there, not only are you going to fail, but what's going to happen is you're going to chase that dragon endlessly until you get so frustrated that you give up and just quit. Do what you have a passion for. What works for somebody else, it may not work for you. That's one of the reasons that I recommend outlining 5 videos to begin with. If you just jump in and start recording and publishing videos, you may do okay for the first couple weeks, couple months, but you may end up getting to a point where you hit a wall and you have nothing left to make content about. If you manage to knock out 5 outlines, that's great. You have videos prepped to record. Hopefully you have a name figured out for a channel. You have an icon figured out. You have a banner figured out. Hopefully you've put all of that thought into what you want your channel to be. The question is, what's next? Well, before this channel went live, I went ahead and outlined 5 videos. What's next is tip number 3, which is fill your bank. Now, I have notes in my phone where I have a very minimum of 5 videos outlined for each of my YouTube channels. The video that you're watching right now was actually filmed weeks before you're watching it. At the time that this video footage is being recorded, the channel hasn't even been created yet. The channel has no name. It's just an idea and a folder full of notes. I'm recording the footage for this video, and then it's getting moved over to my computer. The footage for this video, it's gonna sit on the computer in a file folder with a rough title for the video. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move on to the next video that I have lined up and outlined to film, and I'm gonna go ahead and record that. That video is then gonna be moved over to the bank on the computer as well. What I have is a file folder on the desktop. Inside of that folder, I have multiple folders, one for each video that I'm going to go ahead and be recording. As I record, I go ahead and move that footage over into its folder. I have a review channel that I'm getting ready to launch. Inside of that folder, I think I have 16 videos where most of the footage is recorded. It's all sitting over there in its file folders. Most of it is ready to go ahead and be edited together and published. That's my bank of videos. And if for some reason next week when I should be recording, if I'm not feeling good, if I'm sick, if I sprain my ankle, if I lose my voice, whatever the case may be, I have material to pull from. I can take that material, I can do the edit work, and then I can go ahead and post that instead of sitting here being stressed about what the hell am I gonna do? I'm sick as shit and I can't get in here to record a video. Seriously, fill your bank. When I started making videos, I would think about what it was that I was gonna do for a video all week long. I'd sit here and I'd lay it all out in my head, you know, the topic, the things that I wanted to talk about, you know, certain lines that I wanted to use, different camera angles. I try to get it all right up here. Saturday morning would roll around. I would sit down at my desk, I would hit record, and frantically spend my day trying to get everything recorded, edited, and then posted so that it could go ahead and be published on Sunday. It was incredibly stressful, and I cannot tell you how many times I would get to the point where I would be editing and realize that there was some main point that I would forget to say while recording, and because I wasn't prepared, well, at that point, it's either record the whole damn thing over again or push it out as is. At some point, it finally just clicked for me that preparation really is the most important thing about content creation. Be prepared. Be prepared for it to take a while for your channel to take off. Be prepared by laying out your foundation, all the things that need to get done before you actually launch a channel. Be prepared by having several videos in the process of production. There will be a day that will come where you need to take a day off from video creation without falling behind. And the only way to do that is to have a healthy amount of footage pre-recorded and saved on the computer so that you don't fall behind. So that's it today. 3 tips to help you get started in the world of content creation. Remember to leave questions and comments below. This channel is 100% interactive. So when you leave a question, when you leave a comment, I am going to respond. Those questions and comments, that's where I come up with ideas for future videos past the 5 or 8 that I already have planned and recorded. So this channel is about you. It's not about me. It's about answering the questions that you guys have and pointing everybody in the direction that they need to be pointed.